Calvin had his month of training to help him understand direction and steering. Things really started to move forward. At this point, Remi was able to get on him and walk, trot, and canter both directions without too much issue. We were still working on things like keeping him on the rail, staying straight, and learning how to stay connected, but under saddle, Calvin was actually really good. Even though he could be anxious in the barn, he was very willing and quiet when he was being ridden. That was one of the things we really liked about him. He had a good mind under saddle, and he was trying to figure out what we were asking. Remi started working with him on a regular basis, and eventually we were able to start taking lessons with him. And just a bit of background of why we got Calvin in the first place. We got Calvin for Remi, and before Calvin, Remi had Sunny, and the two of them had been very successful together. They had competed up to the .9s, and Sunny was such a good horse for her. But then Sunny got hurt, and suddenly everything changed. We did not have the money to go out and buy Remi a finished jumping horse, so instead we decided we would try to make one. Remi and I had always talked about buying a project horse one day, and this became our opportunity. Calvin was young, green, and definitely not finished, but he had something we liked. He was curious, he was willing, and even though there were moments where we felt completely over our heads, we could see the potential in him. But with any project horse, there is a lot of work involved. It is not quick. It is not always easy. And when you're developing a jumper, there's a long progression before you ever get to the point where the horse is confidently jumping around a course. There are so many steps before that. They have to learn to steer. They have to learn to go forward and come back. They have to learn balance, rhythm, straightness, and how to listen to the rider. They have to build confidence, strength, and trust. And Remi worked really hard to help Calvin get there. She rode him consistently, she learned with him, and she kept showing up even when things were not perfect. There were good rides, frustrating rides, little wins, and plenty moments where we had to slow down and go back to the basics. But that's what training a young horse is. It's not just about the horse learning, the rider is learning too. Remi was learning how to ride a green horse, and Calvin was learning how to become the horse we hoped he could be. We also had a lot of help along the way. Rochelle helped us so much in the beginning with his steering and direction. Our coach helped guide Remi through the next steps. Other people at the barn gave advice, support, encouragement, and sometimes just helped us see that we were making progress even when it did not feel like it. It really does take a village. Looking back, this was the stage where Calvin started to become more than just a young horse we were trying to figure out. He started to become Remi's partner. He was still green. He still had a lot to learn. We still had a long way to go before jumping became part of the picture, but the foundation was starting to come together. He was learning to trust Remi. Remi was learning how to ride and guide him, and little by little, they became a team. This was the beginning of us trying to get Calvin to go over a pole, and as you can see, it's not going so well, but eventually he does go over it, which was quite fun to see. And even though it took time, help, patience, and a lot of learning, this part of the journey was really special to look back on.
Yes, good job.
This was me riding Calvin for the first time ever after Rochelle had put a month on him for his directional training. And I was so thrilled to actually be on him, but you can tell that he's still not quite understanding, especially because I'm not, at this point, I didn't have a lot of riding under my belt. I would say it would be maybe about 3 years of casual riding. And so, you can see that my leg is moving all the time. And I mean, I'm not by any means a good rider, but he was really good. He was very tolerant, and he just let me kind of do my thing. And it was really cool to ride him because he's very different than Sunny. So Sunny was my horse for a long, long time. And I actually ended up eventing with Sunny and doing a whole bunch of different things with him. But Sunny was he was a kick ride. Sunny needed a lot of leg. Whereas Calvin has his own motor. He just moves forward without having to kick him all the time. And I was really thrilled about that because then I didn't have to work so hard. I also found his trot very comfortable and I had a lot of fun riding him that day. It was so great.